Hello, welcome to another episode of the podcast, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have John Wight of Wight Tree Service with me today. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of good insights from you guys. As I've like I said to you, I used to live in Aurora near Toronto there, and I'm sure I've seen you guys around on
Awesome.
the streets and doing work. So I'm going to ask you that first question before we move on, and particularly pertinent to, I suppose, Canadian Tree Service Company, especially where we're in pretty nasty winter right now as well. And that's in your opinion, what separates tree service companies that thrive from those that just survive? Do you have one or two things that particularly stand out for you?
Yeah, for sure. So normally it depends on the business owner's goals. I know a lot of the guys that have gone out on their own, they first and foremost they want to, not work for another company, but they want to have air quotes the flexibility of their own schedule. And some guys are wanting to work year round, keep the cash flow going. Other guys, they save up a ton and take the winter off. And so, first and foremost, it's going to depend on the goal of the business owner themselves, um, and then how hard they work to promote their business uh, year round. So, I would say the number one thing for success would be the goal of the business owner first and foremost.
That's actually a fantastic insight because we automatically think that to survive you've got to go, but it's like you said. I know some tree service companies that are really busy in the summer, and then they head to Florida in the winter, maybe take a little time off and then
Yeah,
regroup in the spring. That's cool. Okay, so goals of the business owner. That's interesting. Tell us a little bit about yourself, John. How you got into the business, what you're doing now, what your goals are.
for sure. So I'm a second generation arborist. My dad, when he was 20, he grew up on a farm and he started working for a bricklayer, and he enjoyed that work. He used his back, continued to provide at that time, and he was being laid off for the winter. So there was another local tree service that was hiring at the time. He got started working there, and then worked for that company for. Well, he had said he worked on the ground first and foremost, and all the guys that he was hired with kept climbing the trees and moving up the ladder, kind of pun intended. And he's like, well, I could do that. So the owners at that time, they trained him on how to climb, and because of who he is and his proficiency, he wanted to be you know top of his craft. So he learned everything there was about tree removal, tree pruning, cranes, chippers, bucket trucks, etc. And so he learned that. He then met my mom, and then they went to the city of Toronto and then started the business on the side. So they did that. I want to say part time, but it definitely is not part time. It's every evening and weekend
Mm.
to continue to provide for the family. There's pictures of me at 5 years old, just, in the yard helping dad load a chainsaw into the truck. It's kind of cute. You get a hard hat on, and it's like, hey, dad, I want to do what you're doing. And so ever since then, 10 years later, I started climbing. Dad said, hey, you're old enough now to work and no more computer games. So at the time, you wanted to hang out with your friends, but very grateful that learned how to climb early and
Mm.
uh, learn under my dad. And then eventually, I was always kind of entrepreneurial driven, and then knew I wanted to do the business. And about 11 years ago, took it over from my dad and mom, and I've continued
Mm.
moving forward.
Very cool. And you are based in Keswick, if I'm right, in Ontario.
Yep.
And so is most of your client work around there, or you're in the Toronto area as well?
Yeah, so we service, we're just at the base end of Lake Simcoe, and then we service down to
Mm.
Lake Ontario. Based on population, Keswick's growing, but there's only so many trees and so many people, so we go all the way down to Toronto, and there's a lot of high-end clientele down there with really fancy
Mm.
estates, and they need their properties maintained by a certain level of professionalism. So we don't mind
Mm.
going down and servicing those areas.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the sort of organic nature that the company started growing from. So when your dad and your mum started the company, you said it was kind of part-time work, evenings and weekends. Were they basically supplementing their income and trying to grow something organically?
No, my mom said, well, you're working for a private company right now, and you want to have a pension when you retire. So
Mm.
they took that route. I have four siblings, so there's five of us. So if dad were to ever get hurt on site, then, he's the breadwinner in the family. So they wanted to get
Mm.
the pension, the benefits, and do that first, and then they had their other financial goals after that, and that's why they did the business on the side.
Got it. Okay. That seems like quite a hard way of doing things, but it's mitigating the risk, I suppose, as
Yeah.
well. So, um, building the client base slowly, I suppose. And
Yeah,
then at the point where you took over the business, it was big enough for you to do full time, I guess.
correct. Yeah, and I was young enough and I wanted to be a
Mm.
business owner. I knew I didn't want to work for somebody else in that corporate environment. So dad said, okay, that's fine. But you have to grow it to sustain itself and be able to handle that.
So that's a challenge in itself, especially, presumably, you were young and you didn't know that much about running a business. What were some of the difficulties that you faced and overcame when you were taking over the business? And I'm assuming that you ran it in conjunction with your parents for a while.
Yeah, I did. I managed it for the first 5 to 6 years, and then from there, once I was at a point where I was
Mm.
proficient and figured I have the skill set, then I wanted to move forward with the transfer of ownership. Difficulties at the time is just not knowing. So you don't know what you don't know. And I do like to seek
Yep.
and learn through different resources, ask different questions, but you quickly exhaust your pool of people to ask questions to. I like numbers. 9% of Canadians are business owners. Out of that, 9% of them make it to 1 million a year. So, and only 1 in 5 make it to 5 years.
Mm.
So you quickly exhaust who you can talk to in your circle, and that's probably another challenge is trying to find competent people to steer you in the right direction, as well as other people are busy. So
Mm.
unless you're paying them for their time, it's kind of they're only going to give you so many answers.
Yeah, yeah. How did you deal with that then? How did you find the answers that you were looking for when you were
Um,
taking over?
Google is a great resource.
Google is.
Other books, I'd say, hey, do you recommend any books? I'm in the
Mm.
car a lot doing sales, so I like to listen to podcasts, audiobooks, use that as a university on wheels, which is
Mm.
really great. Um, and you might listen to one person for a bit, take something. I also found that when there's a problem that comes up, that you can solve the easy problems, and once you hit a problem you've never ran up against, then you have to research and work towards finding that solution.
Mm.
um, so it's a lot of trial and error, but persistence is key.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I find as well. And it's almost like you have to test different things to see what works for you. And in my opinion, and I could be wrong, things that work for you may not work for another person,
100%.
right?
100%.
So I guess a lot of the entrepreneurial spirit to me is about not taking risks as much as being open to trying different things to see what
Yeah.
sticks. I
Oh, yeah.
guess. What are your what were you in terms of services you were providing when you first started the business, or you were taking over for your dad? What were you sort of doing on a day to day basis for clients in terms of the actual tree work that brought the money in? Were you doing everything, or were you limiting it to certain services?
For me, I am a pretty ambitious person and I don't like to say no. At the beginning, you can't really say no because whoever's going to pay you, you're willing to work for them, which is, a double-edged sword. But we were providing
Yeah.
tree pruning, tree removal, hedges, stumps, deep root fertilizer, and that's anything from a small euonymus all the way up to a 100-foot
Mm.
Carolina poplar over 5, 6 backyards. So I like the challenge. Um, a certain amount of the arborist industry is, hey, I can do it better, faster, stronger. And I think that's healthy as long as you're doing it safely.
Right.
And I, you wanted to push your limits, know where you're at in terms of your physical ability, mental ability, and also leadership and
Mm.
sales as well.
And what about being in the northern climate here in Canada with winter? We were talking about that just before the podcast, and also you were mentioning different goals of the business owner as well. You're sitting in your truck now, so I'm guessing you're working today. I'm
Yes.
guessing this. I guess the snow
Yes.
is coming down as well.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
what's your sort of view on that? And the reason I ask is because I do talk to tree company owners who say, like this year, November was brutal, and as soon as middle of November hits, the work is all dried up. There's nothing
Yeah.
we can do.
So I think we can keep our heads down like an ostrich in the sand. And when you're
Mm,
always reactive to everything, you're not being able to forecast and look forward. I find that most problems, what you do now, you're going to see the fruit of that labor 3 to 6 months from now. If it's January 5th and we're less than 90 days to April, then you're not going to wait till April 1st to get your team together, your truck together, your maintenance together, your advertising together, your accounting together. So it's being able to take a little bit of time either per day or per week and see what problems am I going to come up against in the next week, month, or quarter,
mm.
and then proactively work backwards to solving them.
So November's coming. It's snowing. As a tree company owner, I might want to work in January, February, March. I should be reaching out to potential clients then.
Yeah, yeah, we start whatever sales we do August, September, October. We're booking out November, December, January,
Okay,
and being
fantastic.
upfront. Yeah, being upfront with clients and saying, "Hi, I'm John from Wight Tree Service. Yeah, what's the issue that you're looking to have taken care of?" And a big
Mm,
question is, when are you looking to have it taken care of? Is this we're thinking about it now and it has to be done tomorrow. Is this something you're willing to wait until the off season?
mm,
You're willing to wait, we can get you in the calendar. We can offer a promotion of some sort, being able to know your numbers and play the game that you're able to and not thinking about others in terms of other tree services, oh, what's Joe Blow Tree Service doing? I got to copy them. You have to know your business inside and out.
Yeah, actually, interesting you say that. Just going off on a tangent because I was talking to a tree company owner. I think it was over the Christmas holidays, and they were concerned about a competitor. And my advice was, don't even look at your competitor. How are you
Yeah,
doing with your own numbers, right?
yeah.
Um, what about your clients in this area here? Are they willing to put off tree work through to January, February if you're talking to mid-November?
I find that they are. Yeah, it's my office manager. She's really great,
Mm.
and she says a good restaurant is people are willing to wait for. And it's the same
Right.
thing if you're a quality service, then people are willing to wait for quality work because they don't
Mm.
want the hassle of having to call somebody back to do a fixed job or, you broke
Mm.
something. There's the fear in the client's mind that you're able to reassure them that, and that's built through experience, trust, and brand.
Okay, so when you're building your tree company or your tree service company, focus on quality, not necessarily, I'm going to stick my neck out here, not necessarily the cheapest job you can do and the quickest job you can do. Maybe, from what I understand, a lot of people doing that leave a lot of mess behind, maybe don't have the best customer
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
Um, exude that quality to the potential customers. Make sure they know that you're a premium operation and you're there to look after them, and they're
Yeah,
just
there's
going to
a
wait for that service.
fine line between tooting your own horn and letting your work speak for itself, and
Sure.
reassuring. Because again, you don't want to say, "Oh, look at us, we're the best, we're the shiniest, we're the,"
Mm.
because it comes off as cringy, and people can smell through the fake.
Yeah.
And obviously, you word of mouth is key. So knowing where the phone calls or emails are coming from. Oh, by the way, how did you hear about us? Oh, Susie, next door had you guys do work,
Mm.
and oh, okay, that's great. And what did she say about the service? Yeah, you guys did it. So opening your ears and just being quiet and listening to the problem that the customer has.
As well as delivering that amazing service, but not
Yeah.
being overly confident, I suppose is the right word for it.
Yeah.
And do you also keep in constant touch with past clients as well? Is
We
that a way
do.
of getting people in for the winter?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. You spend all this time and money and energy and you know, if somebody likes your service, make a note of it. Then you could follow up. Ask your clients, hey, is there, this is the service that we provided. Is there anything else
Mm.
we can do for you? Is there anything else? And most people, they want to be heard. So again, just asking those questions and listening.
Fantastic advice. So now we're in January. So happy New Year, first off. Hope
Yes,
you have an
you as
awesome
well. Happy New
2026.
Year.
I guess, is it presumptuous of me to say that now you're actually looking at spring? Even though you're doing work in January and February, you're looking at, how we're going to grow things in spring, get in front of people at this point as well.
For sure. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to wait till spring because people are out and about. If you're doing your groceries, as you can see, I'm wearing my
Mm.
hat or I have a sweater or a jacket. Hi, so and so. What do you do? I'm a tree
Yeah,
service. Oh,
yeah,
I got a tree problem, and it's not being shy. In today's world, we all want to be secluded to our social media, but um, you know, sticking your hand out there, hi, I'm John, it
mm.
goes a long way. And so, do you wait till April 1 to start advertising, or do you continue to make your
Yeah.
connections now?
Always be selling, I think, is the famous phrase.
100%.
So, and this is something that's close to my heart as well, and I'm interested on your take on this one because I get a lot of people asking me particularly about this. Do you do you sort of peel back marketing type of work in the winter, or do you? What's your view on how important marketing is through winter?
What would you define as marketing?
That's a good question. So, I mean, I don't know what you, as a company, what you put into marketing budget, such as, door hangers or signs or, people knocking on doors selling services or whatever it be. But I know some tree companies will actually reduce their budget, going into November, December until, say, March or April, and then they'll start to ramp it up again. And I always feel that's too late because I always feel if you're doing a consistent job through winter, you're building up those relationships for the spring. You're trying to book people in for the spring as well and really start it with a bang, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Again, numbers are key. So if you know that throughout the year you're saving some money and putting it away for a rainy day, you're going to allocate some
Mm.
towards marketing, or you should, as it's an investment. And if you say you try advertising on the side of a bus that's driving around, if you don't get any calls, is that the best way? Are you on a park bench?
Mm.
Are you on a flyer for a golf course? Are you going to BNI meetings? So where are you spending your time? Where are you spending your money? Where are you spending your resources? And are you getting a return on that? So in terms of marketing, I, as a company, want to continue to promote all the time to keep the phone and the emails and the connections growing.
And is it true to say that we get less calls in the winter just because people are not educated in terms of
Yeah, it's the general population, they think about what's right in front of them, and I'm the same.
Mm.
If my furnace conks out, well, now I have a furnace problem. So
Yes,
I'm not versed in
should have got a
HVAC.
service job.
Right, yeah, right. And so um is it a certain level of us educating the client? Yes,
Mm.
but when the sun goes away and the snow falls, everybody's kind of more heads down until the springtime when the leaves pop out. And
Mm.
so, yeah, it will be your responsibility as the business owner to boots on the ground, get out there, promote, teach, build, learn, grow. And again, it goes back to your goals and who you have working for you. If you're one guy with a helper, there's nothing wrong with that. It's going to take less work to keep your weeks full versus do you have 200 guys, and
Mm.
it's going to look very different.
Yeah. And I was talking to somebody a little while ago in the podcast over in the Ottawa side here, and
Sure.
we were talking about laying off staff,
Okay.
and that being that sort of being a problem when it comes to spring because you got to bring people on, try to
Yeah.
find them, retrain them. Is
Yeah.
that something that you sort of have a view on there as well?
Uh, yeah, it's a heavy weight as a business owner when you have staff and the 54% of the GDP is from small business, and that's a really good thing because small business owners, they care about their people. And when you have people caring about the individuals that work for them, then they want to do, at least in my case, I want to do the best that I can to provide work for the families that,
Mm.
are working here. So it's always top of mind. And how do we continue to provide enough work for the staff?
It's a tricky answer in Canada. Again, if we move to Georgia, we might be okay
Yeah,
with
100%.
the with
Or
the weather.
Hawaii, maybe.
Hawaii. Yes.
There we go.
Plus, you get the beaches as well.
Right. Yeah.
What are your primary services in winter? Well, I guess what are the top sellers? I suppose is the question I'm asking in sort of northern areas like Canada here.
We continue to do tree removal, pruning,
Mm.
hedge trimming, stump removal. We're not doing deep root fertilizer. Obviously, the ground's frozen.
Right. Right.
Um, we don't really do cabling in the wintertime.
Mm.
Um, it's a little cold on the fingers to try and use those small tools. But
Mm.
yeah, we continue to any being available for those winter storms, the emergency work that sometimes a tree falls or a branch is dangling, or yeah, being watching the weather, seeing what's happening, then just being prepared for that.
So I'm hearing that potentially even in our climate here, it could be business as usual,
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
which is refreshing because everything shuts down here. Like I always talk to tree owners in Ontario, particularly, and it's doom and gloom. The snow's here, but it's refreshing hearing yourself, and also a couple other people that I've spoken to as well, saying actually you can have
Yeah.
business continuity as well. Just a matter of okay, so it's a matter of planning early
Yep.
on, making sure your ducks are in line and you got the business booked up through the winter, I guess.
Yeah. And continue learning.
Awesome.
It's not a
Okay.
you learn something once, and each year is gonna okay, this advertising worked this
Mm.
year. Do we ramp that up, or maybe we're trying something new or something different?
Right.
Each we'll call past clients and they'll say, "You did a great job for us, but we moved to London." Oh, okay.
Mm.
So knowing the needs of your customers or they moved into a condo building. A lot of the people that we work for are older. They don't live in their home forever. So how do you continue to manage those relationships?
So that kind of brings me on to how again turn your operation into real professional business with back office system of some kind to keep track of clients. And again, I was talking to somebody recently who was fairly opposed to having a CRM. They
Okay.
just liked emails coming in, and I'm like, how are you keeping that information on your clients? How are you able to
Yeah.
reach out to them if you just get an email?
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't work. So I guess the CRM and the back office systems, as well as the office staff, is part of the lifeline for bringing in the work the whole year round, right?
100%. Yeah. If you don't know who you've worked for, then how are you ever going to reach back out to them? And uh, it, if you rely on the customer to call you, sometimes they'll have another service provider working on that street.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, yeah, what would it cost? You just come over here real quick. Well, now you're not top of mind because
Right,
you haven't reached out to
right,
them in 5 years and they just went with another. So we'll get a call from a customer. Oh, yeah, you did work for me a couple of years ago. Well, in the CRM, we've never done work for this person. And
right.
okay, yeah, what did we do the last time? And you're not being dishonest. You're just saying, okay, who were you trying to call? And they called
Mm.
you for some reason. So we want to think as we're thinking about our business 100% of the time. Everybody else is never thinking about our business, and it's naive to think that
Right.
uh, you know Sally in Aurora is thinking about Wight tree service for 5 years until she's going to call me again. So we're the professional. We are managing their property. and we can continue to put our name out there so that we stay top of mind.
So occasional contact with past clients is also acceptable. When does it
Yep.
get annoying for the clients?
When they tell you.
What's a good cadence? When they tell you.
When they tell you. Yeah. When you're giving a free piece of value. Hey, we did work for you last
Mm,
time. Hope all is well. Let us know for the future. And
mm,
even if they just open it, that's fine. Oh yeah, they did work for us a couple years ago. Cool. And then they'll take a
mm.
walk around the property, or who knows, right? You do get people subscribing from your emails, but
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
okay. They're allowed to
Sure.
do that. We unsubscribe from spam emails, but
Yep. Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Three pieces of advice for me if I wanted to start a tree service company.
okay. First and foremost, I would say make sure that you know your goals. So, are you
Right.
in it to make money? Are you in it to provide quality tree care for this certain type of client? Um, do you want to drive a fancy jacked up pickup and you want to use your service to cover the fuel and the tires and rims? All of that's okay. Know your goals first and foremost. Two, I would say um, know your numbers. So if you don't know your numbers, have somebody that can teach you or show you those numbers,
Mm,
because that's going to guide your excuse me, that's going to guide your decision making. And lastly, I would say um, not as a blank statement, but as a um, when you're going to hire your first person, you're probably going to get it wrong because you don't know what you're doing. So um, if you don't like somebody that's working for you, or they're not fulfilling their obligation as an employee, let them go and start over, right? So
mm,
continue to surround yourself with people that are going to build you and your company up, and that you want to continue to enjoy
mm.
working with.
Sound advice, that is for sure. And I got to ask this. This has been on my mind since we started talking. You said you read a lot. Do you have any favorite books you would recommend that people who
Sure.
wanted to start a tree service company should
Yeah.
read?
It's not a tree service related book, but Profit First by Mike McCalloway.
Yes, that's a
That's
fantastic book.
yeah, fantastic book on just the practical day-to-day solutions of how to run a business. And the number one reason a business fails is not enough cash and knowing your numbers. So I would say that book, Profit First. Um, yeah, start there and go down the rabbit hole.
Well, the great thing about Profit First is it tells you how to operate profitably, excuse me, for day one, right? Even if
Yes.
it's a few dollars here and there, it actually teach you how to manage your money in an operation. And I
Yeah.
think, when I first read Profit First, it was quite an eye opener for
100%.
sure.
100%.
So that's a fantastic book to read. Okay. So John, we're coming up to our time now. So where can folks find you?
They can find us online. It's our website is wtreecare.ca. That's WTREE care.ca. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere
Yep.
on the internet there. So we have a Google profile, lots of good reviews, and happy to reach out. The office will answer any questions or put you in touch. So
And I was going to say, I've just subscribed to your YouTube channel, actually. I love your videos. I hope you're going
Yeah,
to do
thank you
more.
so much.
They're really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and we're
I mean,
still learning on that end of things too, but
with YouTube, I mean, again, people don't realize, but it's, I mean, maybe it's even the biggest search engine now, but it's certainly the second biggest search engine.
yeah,
What I like about your videos is you really highlight the work that you do. So me, as somebody who potentially wants to work with you, I do a search on Google, I see your video come up, or I go to your website and see a video there, and I know John, I know the company, I know what you do. I can see that you're, highly professional what you do,
yeah, thank you.
all on video. So
Yeah,
for sure. And actually, I mean, I always recommend these days that people start a YouTube channel and start uploading some kind of video about their work as well. So, I'll make sure that we get those links down there in the show notes as well.
perfect.
But yeah, I mean, that was fantastic. Unfortunately, I'm going to head to another meeting now, but
No
we
problem.
got a lot of amazing nuggets there for sure, John. And I really, really appreciate you joining me this afternoon.
For sure.
Good luck for winter. Good luck for the spring, and hopefully we speak soon.
All right, thanks, Graeme.